Good evening once more. Welcome to tonight's session. Tonight we are going to be talking about test plan, test scenario, and test cases. So we need to understand what it takes to carry out a thorough validation of a software or solution that we've just implemented. And before this test, part of the planning activity is that we need to create a test plan. We need to create a test scenario and a test case, a test package waiting for the testing time. So the testing usually is one of the last things that will come in after implementation of a software or a solution. So once after the test and everything is validated, the solution is behaving as expected. It meets all the criteria, passes all the acceptance criteria, all the requirements from the stakeholders are met, then it can be handed over to the client that or the product sponsor. So that is what test package is all about. So after we've created product backlog, we've refined it. Product backlog is users, epic user features, user stories, acceptance criteria. We should know what product backlog is all about. And we create something like use cases to throw more light on how the actors will interact with the system, and the clients are happy, then we don't just go in and start configuration or implementation because we are going to be testing after. So it's still part of our activity as a BA to do that. But if you have a quality assurance personnel, QAs, is their duty to design this test package, which comes in as test plan, test scenario, and test cases. So, but if we don't have, I said this earlier, if we don't have a quality assurance personnel or manager in place, you as a BA, you have to do that because you should have the necessary skills to carry out standard testing. But for the QAs, they have to go through a lot of training because to be a QA, there's a lot of testing involved, a lot of machine you need to. But for BAs, just basic testing, I try to add it as things that BAs need to do or learn or know in all my courses or all my dealings, because it's very necessary. So many cases we don't have QAs, so you have to do the work as a BA. So now let's go to our lesson notes and we'll finish off from there and then we'll take questions. So let's start by definition. Let's see our basic definition of these activities. And like I said earlier, the test plan is a formal document outlining the strategy, resources, and schedule for testing activities. It acts as a blueprint to guide the testing team and ensure all aspects of the system are thoroughly tested and validated. It's just a document. Plan is we've dealt with so many plans, project plans, so many. So it just to be is a very delicate stage of our system build or software implementation, because if at this stage, at the testing stage, we do not do it very well and we miss a lot of bugs, then it's going to come back haunting us. So that's why we have to have a plan on how to carry out these activities. As we are progressing, we are going to see components of a good test plan. And then what is the scenario? A test scenario is a high-level description of what needs to be tested. It represents a particular functionality or feature from end user perspective. So we describe what need to be tested just at high level. And then the test cases is when we break them down, sequence of activities that we need to follow in order to carry out this thorough testing or thorough validation. So a test case is a specific set of inputs, execution steps, expected outcomes, designed to verify a particular functionality of the system. So these are key items we need to carry out during testing. When we say testing, these are the three items that comes in. You can say testing is the main category, and then test plan are the various items we need to look into because we need to plan our work very well. That's why we are professional. You can see anytime plan. That's how professionals. But if you just jump in, start testing, what are you? You are a cowboy, you know. That's what we call people that don't plan their activities. Just jump in and start shooting. These are cowboys. So we are professionals, so we plan our activities before we do anything. That's why we do carry out project plan and things like that. Okay, now having laid this foundation, let's look at the key components of these activities. These are key components under test plan. Number one is the objective, the goal of the testing effort. You must give a clear objective of why this testing needs to be carried out, and scope. We must identify what needs to be tested and what are not going to be tested. So that is scope. Test environment, we have to decide the environment where this testing is going to take place. Testing, I've seen some people carrying out their tests on a slide. A BA that comes to do the testing have everything on slide and be talking about it on slide. My dear, that is not testing. You are just, that is workshop, not testing. Testing is live. You carry out that live. You test the software live. Whatever you say that the software will do, you do it with that software. For instance, if you have developed a software like WhatsApp, and you know WhatsApp is we use it to chat, we need it to share pictures, we need it to share videos. You have to use it to chat. You have to type in within the chat input, you type in, you send it, it goes. Yes, you click it, that's good. You use it to share picture, you browse picture, you share, and the person at the other end is receiving it, good. Video, the same way, that is testing. But when you come, you have a slide, you talk about how it has to be done, this, and at the end of the day, people clap for you. That's not true. So environment is the hardware, software, and tools required for this testing. You need to decide this during the when you are creating your test plan. Test strategy, approach to testing. We have two types of testing. As a BA, at least a BA should be able to know how to plan to carry out normal manual testing. But when we talk about automated testing, we have a lot of technologies we can use for automated testing, like Selenium and the rest of them. These are some of the skills or trainings the quality assurance personnel need to undergo that makes them a QA person. They are part of the technical aspect of what they need to do. So a lot of testing can be done without automation. Then we have testing type. We need to state the type of testing we are carrying out. We have different types of testing. We have functional testing, we have non-functional testing, we have regressional testing, we have performance testing, we have UAT, and a lot of you must clearly define which test are we carrying on before we start proceeding to the test environment. Then timeline for the testing, you must state the timeline. When is this testing taking place? Is it on Friday? Yes, on Friday. At what time? Between 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. It must be stated. Resource, testing team members or tools, you must state who are the people that are going to carry out the testing. Is it BA? It must be clearly stated. Is it a QA? Is it a user? What are the tools they are going to use? These are the resources that need to be stated beforehand so that we plan for it. And whoever is going to test must know, must be briefed before the testing, not during the testing. You just point somebody, come and do testing here. It doesn't happen that way. Risk and mitigation, changes and strategy to address them. During the testing, something can happen. The system that you plan to do the testing might crash. So if you are testing and you want to use a particular system or laptop or whatever, you must keep a handy one, a backup handy. If that crashes, you switch on to the next environment and carry out what you are doing. If there is key changes, in major people that are going to be testing, for instance, you've appointed a user in your office that are going to carry out the testing, you must have a backup. If that person is not available, all of a sudden he can be sick and find out that he couldn't carry out the testing, you can appoint the backup to come in and carry out the testing. So these are some of the risks and mitigations that can be addressed. So once you have this, you'll make sure that that testing is going to happen. And then once you capture this plan, we have to still break some of the things that need to be done by the scenario, defining the scenario and the key inputs. So these are the key components of test scenario. Scenario ID, a unique identifier for the scenario. The scenario must be identified, it must be unique, so that two scenarios will not clash. Description, a high-level overview of the functionalities to be tested. You must capture what needs to be tested. For instance, if you are testing a Dynamics 365 CRM, Dynamics 365 CRM is a big software. So you must capture what are we testing. You can say we are only testing lead management. We are testing contact management. We are testing, there are so many, so you must identify, describe the high level of the functionality to be tested. Dependencies. Remember, for the scenarios such as user rule or data, you know, what are going to be used, what are their dependencies, the data that need to be tested, and user role. So these are some of the things that need to be captured as well. And priority, importance of all the scenarios. If you have two scenarios, for instance, in Dynamics 365, we have two key functionalities. For instance, we have lead management, and then we'll have contact management. Which one comes first? You need to grade it in terms of priority, by high priority, low, medium, or low, so that whoever is testing will know where to start first. Then we move to test cases. So test cases, I think have I shared a copy of my product backlog with you? I think I've shared a template with you guys. Have I?
No, sir.
No, it's not true. I've shared a template of product. Which product backlog are you people using? If you said no, or you do not, some of you do not even check. Don't go back to look at what we've done after the class. We just move away from here. Because I think we've done product backlog. And during the product backlog, I shared a template that will guide you. Didn't I?
You did, sir. Is on the course portal.
So Chukura, so why are you saying no, sir? What's going on with you? So if you go,
sorry, sir.
So the point I'm making here is that at the end of the product backlog, at the end of that particular document, there is another column start from where I capture test cases. Did you see that? Anyway, this is what I'm talking about because I know I've shared it and you cannot lie against me. So this is what I've shared. I've shared something like this with you guys. So if you don't have access to this, you are cheating yourself, not me. And if any document that I share, if you are serious about this your career, you should leak everything I give to you and even be ready to leak more. You must have leaked this template. And if you are ready to leak more, I'll be expecting some of you to come and tell me, this one that your yellow, is it still part of the product backlog? But none of you has come to ask me this question. But this is a test cases here. We've captured here. But some of you do not know you have this. And I remember when we were in university, we read so much, we read a lot. And it seems we don't read a lot these days. And it's not good. We watch video a lot. And after watching video, nobody tried to read anything. Because some of the questions some of you come to ask me personally, I wonder why we open books to even read any other thing after watching. So it's important we read. BAs, or if you want to be a BA, you are a consultant. You can't be consulting on with empty head. Consultancy means you know too much and are ready to, give out your knowledge to solve organizational problem, not just people, organization. So that's what BA are. So back to these test cases. In test cases, here are the components. We have a test ID, a unique identifier for each test case, test description, a summary of what the test case verify, precondition, requirement or setup needed before executing the test, and test steps, step-by-step action to execute the test, and then expected results. So you must know what you are expecting before you even start the test, so that if it doesn't meet what you are expecting, then you have to fail. So the actual result. So if the actual result matches the expected result, pass. If the actual result differ from the expected result, fail. And the status is either you pass or you fail or you block the test, whichever. That's key components of these test cases. Breaking it further with examples. We have tomorrow now I'll ask you, can you tell me any example? Some of you will say, no, we've never said anything about this. So, example of this: testing Dynamics 365 ERP Business Central. This is the test plan for D365 ERP Business Central. So let's look at this test plan. Tomorrow, somebody will just call me, Charles, how are we going to do this test plan? Forgetting that this is a template that I've given to you here. This is a template. I've provided a template for this test, for this plan, a template for test plan. So if you have never seen a test plan in your life before you now is a test plan. In this D365 ERP Business Central test plan, the objective, validate, and I will equally tell you that is an expo. I'll give you people a lot of expo. And when you are going to be executing your project, I will not see anything related to what we did, and even the expo giving. Some of you will not use the expo. So this is an expo. The objective is to validate functionality of D365 ERP Business Central for the finance module. If you remember, ERP, we have so many modules there. We have finance modules, we have CRM, we have HR, we have a lot, even project management, supply chain. We have, it's a combination of a lot of modules, for some of the companies that cannot afford high. So you can not be, benefiting from this at a very moderate level. Then the scope is to focus on account payable and account receivable and the general ledger. You see the scope here. Even within the finance modules, there's a lot of activities within the finance modules, but it narrows it down to account payable, account receivable, and general ledger. Then test environment, Windows Server, D365 ERP Business Central with SQL database. Then test strategy, manual and automated testing using Selenium and Jira. Testing type, functional, regressional, and integrating testing. So functional is it tests all the functionalities, making sure that they are working very well. Regressional is that after testing and there is a bug, you can go and fix it and come back and test it again. That second testing is called regressional testing. And integrational testing is if there is any integration that happened during the configuration I need to test, you equally need to test the integration, making sure that the integration works very well. And then schedule, that is timeline, 3 weeks, 1 week be a module. So you see the timeline now. Resources for this testing, we have 2 testers. You see they are not, they have as well, 2 testers, 1 test manager and 1 business analyst. So business analyst, you play a lot of roles within this. That's why I said, if there is no tester, the BA can do the job. BA is like a midfielder. You are everywhere. You can test, you can plan projects, you can everything, you can do it. So it's more like jack of all trades. Okay, risk and mitigation, data inconsistency. Use sample data for the before you start testing. Make sure you use a sample data before the testing. So don't just you come there, you start cracking your head to formulate a data that need to be used. So you see, this is a very brief but very valuable test plan that can be used anywhere globally while doing your job as a business analyst. Okay, having seen an example of a test plan, let's see how a test scenario looks like. A test scenario, this is the scenario ID, is unique. If you look at these 3 scenarios, they are unique numbers. Of course, you can see 001, 002, and 0. They are not. So they cannot say that 001 is, so they must be unique. And you capture the description, test login functionality for all users, all user role, dependency, user account setup, priority high. 2, validate invoice creation in account payable, sample this dependencies, sample vendor data uploaded, high, ensure payment posting to the correct ledger, integration with bank accounts, medium. So this is an environment, a scenario where we can carry out. You can see this is at a very high level. It's not broken down at all. So, but we know exactly, this helps us to know exactly where this testing is going to take place and what is involved and the importance of the testing within the priority column. So having captured this test scenario. Breaking it down further, we look at test cases. So test cases, we have test ID, which is very unique. We've captured 3 test cases, and they are quite unique. That is 001002003. Description, precondition, test step, expected result, actual result, and status. So the first test case, which is TC001, is to verify login with valid credentials. So whoever is going to log in need to validate it, and user set up account. That's precondition before this is even account. We need to set up account for whoever is going to carry out this test, because if you don't have account, for instance, in Dynamics, if you do not have an account, you cannot even going in there. So the first step for this is to set up an account and then verify this login. So the steps to do this verification is to navigate to the login page, enter valid username and password, and click login. If user is redirected to the dashboard, then it means it passed. But if it's saying incorrect login detail, why you know that the login detail is correct, or you showing bringing on some error message, then you know that there is a problem. So expected result is user is redirected to the dashboard, meaning that you are into the system. And the actual result as expected. Once it's as expected, you click pass. So this status should be a drop down where you can select test or pass, or you can write it. So as it happens like this, you just click write pass. You have carried out this particular test. So that is the user who is captured within the test plan that is going to have, is the person that's going to carry out this test. So the second one is TC002, validate invoice creation in account payable. And precondition is vendor data uploaded. Before this can be done, a data must be uploaded. So, and the step is to navigate to account payable. When you have logged in already, you navigate to account payable, select create invoice, enter vendor details, and submit. So when you do that, you are sending invoice to the vendor. And mind you, you have created a vendor before that. The vendor must be, the vendor you are trying to send this must be existed within the system. So that is it. So if you submit successfully, you have created a vendor invoice. So you send invoice, under account payable. Invoice is created successfully as expected, pass. Okay, you move to the next test case here, which is ensure payment posting to correct ledger. And the precondition is that bank integration must be completed. You must have an integration with a bank. You navigate to payment, select transaction, confirm the payment, check general ledger for posting, payment posted under the incorrect ledger. So you're trying to post, but it's saying incorrect ledger. It means there is a situation here. It's not going as expected. So if it happens this way, you have to issue found. That is it here, not as expected. You fail. So this needs to be troubleshooted by whoever is the developer that did the configuration. They need to come back and know why it's not posting as expected. So you see you have completed your testing, and that is it. So, and you will receive a round of applause from your team for carrying out a testing. So that's it. So this is all we have to say about testing. And yeah, this is just a scenario, but there is no need for this scenario because you guys are already working on a project where you are going to do this. But if you aren't working, I would have given this as an assignment where you have to design test scenario and cases for hypothetical model in ERP, finance model. But you guys already working on this, so I'm expecting to see a good job. So best practice involves stakeholders, collaborate with stakeholders to identify critical test areas, be specific, use clear and concise language in test scenario and cases, prioritize, focus on high priority features first, reuse tests, create a reusable test cases for recurring functionalities. That's why we have templates. So if you have a template, like all you need to do whenever you want to carry out tests, you just go to your template and do a bit of modification, and that's it. So reflection question: how does creating detailed test documentation improve the quality and reliability of a project? So this is question I would have asked you people, but because we are busy, I decided to give an answer. Detailed test documentation ensures thorough validation of all system features, identify potential defects early, and promote consistency in the testing process. So that is what we need to know about testing. And if you go to the document I've created here, so we already have a test we've used here, and it's attached to the product backlog, making life so easier for us. We've done this, so if you go there, you see this document. It captures a lot of test cases within Dynamics. Is as against the major features in Dynamics 365 ERP. So that's it for tonight. Next week, before we go on Christmas holiday, we have to finish these topics: Scrum, sprint planning, and implementation. As a matter of fact, this is just a refresher because I think we've done this during the project management. But for some of you who didn't attend the project, some of you are not, when you are doing project, they are not interested, they are waiting for business, we are going to refresh it. Okay, if you have any question, I'm all ears, and thank you for listening. So carry Mott.
Good evening, sir.
How are you?
Fine, sir.
Good.
Please, my first question has to do with the SQL database. I
Okay.
was, I, I was just wondering why the SQL is included in the test environment.
Because
I don't know. Maybe
the every system have got a database. Every system.
okay, sir.
Are you getting me? So do you think they
Yes,
are where all this you are posting something, you are doing this, where are they going to? Are they going on the where? They are going on,
the
they are going into the database. Any system, all this data we are posting, they say create invoice, you type invoice, upload this, you do this, type this and that. In CRM system, you keep on capturing lead, you keep on typing this and that. Where is all this data going? All this, they are going into the database, and every system, all of them, even this all the WhatsApp we are using, all of them, they have database, this kind of, everything going into their database. It might not be SQL database. Some of them are using database like Firebase, well, everything, every system got a Firebase, a database. Yeah.
but the database, is it managed by the company or by the ERP solution we are implementing? I was thinking it would be managed by Microsoft and not the company itself.
There's we still have on premises and on cloud. It depends on what you purchase. So if you have on premise application, then the database belongs to you. So many companies today, so many of them, they have on premise. So data cloud migration is still a new thing in the industry. So that's why so many companies are still on their journey of cloud migration. So this cloud migration is when you are now hosting you are hosting this thing on a shared server, Microsoft shared server. Okay, let me give you a scenario. This cloud migration is that they have their own big house. So the petition rooms just like a big block of flats. Company will now come and pay for a small room and be using their database. But before then, people will come and buy equipment from Microsoft and go home and build their own house and manage it on their own. Is that clear?
Yes, sir, it is.
So that is the difference between cloud database and on-premise database. On-premise means everything you do belongs to Microsoft, do not have, but due to scalability, security, maintenance, is difficult maintaining on your own personal server and
Yeah.
managing your data, managing security. But if you are now on cloud, by Microsoft, it means that they are going to take care of your security. You are not worrying anything. All you need to do is at the end of the month, you give them their small money. And that's it. And that's how.
Even with that, do we still have to do the SQL? Should the SQL now still be part of the test environment if you are maintaining on
You are not
cloud?
going to tell, you are not, but the system must have a database. That is what it means. You are not going, what are you going to the database to do?
Okay.
It
Now I
said
understand.
what need to be existing. A
Oh,
system
okay.
with a database. So you have to be a full system.
Okay, sir. So my second question,
Okay.
sir, is it that after the implementation, there will be a training before this test scenario these test cases will be done? Because I was thinking when you were sharing the test cases with us, the description that select something invoice, do this, do that, and in my mind I'm like, okay, I understand this because I have a finance background. What of someone that does not have a finance background? What if I'm faced with a solution, an IT solution that I do not even have an idea about, but
At the
I've
end
carried
of
out all my
at the end of every deployment, before the people that are going to use the system, they are going to be trained. So,
okay.
but even before they deploy it, there are some people that knows how to use it. For instance, people within the finance department, anybody who is a serious finance person must know what is all this ledger, sales payable, account payable. We know all those things. That you studied simple accounting in the university or even in polytechnics, they teach you all this. You don't need sophisticated knowledge, like say, if because it's a basic, even in secondary school, they teach all these things, account payable. That is basic accounting.
Yes.
So what are
But
you
so
getting?
that means the accountant needs to be with the BA to develop the test cases. They have to develop it together. Because I'm looking at it from a BA
And these
angle, a
are
BA that
stakeholder. That's why I
has
say,
knowledge.
if you look at what we are talking about, you see, did you hear about, are you okay? Are you reading the best practice now? Look at the
No,
screen.
no. Okay.
So you don't even look at what you are just, what are you then asking from? Did you read this best practice that is staring at you?
Okay. Yes.
Read out the first thing?
You said collaborate with stakeholders to identify critical test areas.
So who is the stakeholder in finance department?
Yeah, the finance manager.
And who?
Probably the accountant or the person
No,
that is also
I'm
going
not probably. We are not under probability here. When we are talking about stakeholders, what do we say is a stakeholder?
those that are involved directly in the use of the solution, those that will be affected or impacted by the solution.
So, and you say that accountant is probability, means that you are not sure. How accountant that's going to use the system is now a probability. So why probability? You say
I'm
probably.
sorry. Yeah, the accountant that is going to
So
do the data entry.
all the accountants, account payable, account receivable within that finance, they are all stakeholders. And they must be involved in one way or the other. So they must know what's going on. Okay. Any more
Okay, sir.
questions?
Thank you, sir.
Hello. Do you have any more questions? It's the only Karimot that I've got here in this class. Okay. Karimot, have you got any more questions?
No, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
So make sure you are going to go and train the team. So train us on finance. So Karimot, I studied banking and finance.
I studied accounting.
Okay. So we'll be hearing this payable or receivable. Okay. Thank you guys for joining, and yeah.
Thank you, sir.
All right. We're going to see
Thank you, sir.
sometime next week.
Thank you, Mr. Charles.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right.
Have a good night, sir.
Good night.